Last week, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by a quarter point. That's less than what President Trump was hoping for. He wanted to see a half point cut. But it is the lowest now than it has been since early 2023. How will the Fed cutting interest rates affect everyday Americans? Car loans, credit cards, housing loans, and what will it do to the housing market? Joining me at this time to weigh in with his expert insight and analysis is the principal and the founder of WCM Global Wealth Management. He is Erik Weir. He's also author of Who's Eating Your Pie? Essential Advice That Will Transform Your Life. By the way, he specializes in his firm specializes in managing investments for Grammy-winning recording artists, celebrities, sports professional athletes, as well as Forbes listed billionaires. Let's welcome Erik Weir. Erik, good to see you.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. I'm so glad to be here.
So, how's this going to affect everyday Americans in your opinion?
Well, I think it's more it's starting the trajectory, right? So a quarter point in and of itself doesn't make that much difference. But I
Yeah.
think what it does is it indicates there's more to come. It indicates the Fed's recognizing employment's increasing, the economy may be a little slower than we'd like it to be, and there's room. He also, Chairman Powell indicated that based on data, he could be convinced into reducing rates even further. So ultimately, people who are waiting on the home, they're concerned, home builders or somebody's thinking of starting projects. I think it's encouraging because they feel like that it's going in the right direction for them. Money is going to get cheaper, and that's a big deal for the economy.
Yeah. So you see money getting cheaper, which means what I alluded to a moment ago, or I mentioned a moment ago, interest rates, housing market, those rates should all come, credit cards, I mean, credit cards, housing market, those rates should all be coming down.
They should all come down. What's interesting about credit cards, they seem to charge a remarkable amount no matter what the rates are. So
Oh, yeah.
they may be less sensitive, but the housing rates for sure will come down. Office, the majority of the money that's being borrowed to grow the economy, to grow business, I think it gets cheaper. And then that creates jobs. Hey, we're going to start. What if another 50,000 homes start or 100,000 homes start? Then that creates a lot more jobs for electricians, for plumbers, suppliers, waiters, the whole thing. It's a trickle through the economy effect, and it's significant. And just when rates increase, it hurts. And finally, we're seeing a little bit of relief.
And is this why the president wanted the Fed to cut rates all
Well,
along?
I think I kind of agree with him because what's happening is Powell has indicated he's inclined to decrease rates in the future. And I think you're looking at different forms of managing. President Trump he's run private companies, very large companies around the world. And as a manager, you have to be anticipatory, meaning I see what's happening. With what's happening, what should I do to be ready today? The Federal Reserve typically looks at published data that's been vetted that can be anywhere from 30 days old to 90 days old, and the study may take a little time. So the Fed is looking at historical data. So by definition, the president's saying, I'm looking at what should we be doing, and the Fed's looking at what has happened. So there's going to be a lag between 6 and 12 months between the two perspectives.
What do you think how the economy is going to look like 6, 12 months down the road? There are those who say the tariffs are going to slow the economy, and then here we're saying the rate cuts are going to be good for the job market. What do you see?
I think it's better. I think the wild card that people are not looking at, which is both good news and bad news, is AI. I think we're seeing a lot of improved productivity that is it's beginning to show up. I think that's going to cause certain concerns for parts of the job market, and it's also at the same time going to make certain people maybe more employable, more valuable than maybe they are today. So I think that the economy will remain strong. I think that cheaper rates will help, people encourage to take more risk in projects. And the tariffs alone, I mean, it's a complicated issue. But if you look at hundreds of billions of dollars of companies are saying they're going to relocate to America, that's massive job creation. That's massive employment. That's massive increase in tax base. So I think the argument for things slowing down the next year is a weak argument.
I want to come back to what you said about AI a moment ago. Uh, I believe you said it was both good and bad.
Mhm.
Uh, my first reaction is that, how bad is it going to be in a sense that people lose their jobs? On the other
Well,
hand, go
yeah,
ahead.
I think for select, so for example, if you're installing HVAC units or you're doing that, your job is probably fine. I mean, it's not going to be doing that, at least not in its first iteration. Plumbing, framing, but there may be some things if you're in clerical work or things where you're working with numbers or spreadsheets or reconciling books and records. That's something that may require less people to do it than it did and it does today. So my point is, if you are in that field, there's no need to leave the field. But if you could sharpen your skills and learn how to utilize AI to make you more efficient, I think your value in the marketplace will increase. Otherwise, I think if you're people who are, there used to be fax machines. A fax machine was a big invention, and people loved the fax machine. But once email was developed and other things, it just scanning and PDFing, it kind of went away. Not overnight, but it went away. You can't find a fax machine now unless you're on eBay looking for a relic or a collectible, right? But there were people that hung on to fax machines for a long time. So, and even the government today uses fax machine because of the security provided by a fax machine. So it still has some utility, but it is not what it once was. And I think it's the same thing if you choose not to invest in yourself and learning how to use AI, even at a base level. I think you become maybe slightly less marketable in the marketplace over the next 2 or 3 years.
1 second, my flip phone is ringing.
Yeah, that's right. Your pager, I thought, was going off too. Yeah,
What about in the field that you're in? We're seeing more
oh,
ETFs and investments being managed by AI. How does that affect the professional advisor?
I think fees are coming down. They're going to come down because, for example, I give an example that's easier to understand today. In my industry, fees are going to come down. Profits will go up because there'll be fewer people splitting the revenue. There'll be lower expenses. There'll be less people doing the work, and they'll create a high quality product. So that sounds crazy. It's terrible. What's happened before? The invention of the cotton gin, the invention of the combine. So if you were to go through the Midwest 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you may have a property has 40, 50, 100 people working 400 acres. Today, that can be managed by one person. They can drive a combine with a GPS. They drive it through the first time. The combine GPS remembers the route. And every other time, there's still a person manning it. They've got to be in it, but the tractor drives itself. So that effectively removed 40, 50 jobs from the agricultural world over the last 30, 40 years. That same thing is going to happen in other industries. Now, the farmer himself is more productive per person. He may have more income than he had. He may have a different life than he had. But some people had different skill sets that if you're driving the tractor, that's great. If you were doing something else, that's less good. So that's what I mean. How do you retool to be of highest value?
All right. Yeah, I was, since we brought up AI, I was just
Yeah.
curious to get your take on it. All right. So bottom line is the Fed cut rates a little bit, but you believe, if I understand, if I remember correctly, more may be coming, and this will be good for the U.S. job market.
100%. And I think another 50 basis points are coming over the next probably 12 months. I think Powell will be reluctant. I think Trump will keep pushing forward. I think the economic news will show that it's warranted, and I think you'll get at least another 25 basis points, likely 50.
One final question. What's your thoughts on Trump publicly pressuring the Fed Reserve Chairman? There are some who say that we need to keep those so separate.
I haven't seen it before. I think having an opinion is good. I think he's a man of that expresses how he feels. I don't disagree with his analysis. There are those that may disagree with the process, but I mean, I don't know how else he gets the word out. So I understand it. But if you're it's a just like I said, it's different data. If you're driving a car and you're looking in the forward, you see something else. If someone else is your passenger looking backward, they see something different. And if you've seen rain clouds coming, you're ready for the wipers. The guy in the back seat doesn't see the rain till it's here. And I think that's the kind of thing where if you're looking at historical data or data that the Fed publishes, it's a different perspective. I do think there should be some merging of a Fed being more anticipatory and instead of reactionary, because they did say, hey, we didn't raise rates fast. They've admitted they've been behind the ball a little bit a few times, and that's been just because of the way they collect and analyze data.
All right. Erik Weir, principal founder of WCM Global Wealth Management and author of the book, Who's Eating Your Pie? Essential Financial Advice That Will Transform Your Life. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.